Welcome back, friends. Today, we're stepping into one of the most calming truths from Stoic wisdom. Don't force anything in your life. We've all felt that pressure, haven't we? Trying to control every detail, chasing outcomes that slip through our fingers, feeling exhausted by the endless effort. But what if the key to peace isn't pushing harder, but letting go? The Stoics teach us that life becomes smoother when we stop resisting its natural rhythm. And in this episode, we'll explore 10 practical lessons to help you live with more ease, presence, and quiet confidence. Less force, more flow. From savoring simple joys, embracing mindfulness, to finding power in silence. These insights aren't abstract philosophy. They're tools for real change. So if you find value here, give it a like, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more grounded wisdom. Let's begin with Lesson 1, Living Fully in the Present. In a world obsessed with what's next, we often overlook what's right now. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Time is fleeting, and this moment is the only one we truly own. How often are we lost in thought, replaying mistakes or planning tomorrow, while the present quietly passes us by? But the beauty of life reveals itself in the now. Maybe it's a quiet morning with a warm cup of coffee, or a walk in the breeze, where every step feels like a small return to peace. Living in the present isn't about perfection. It's about presence. Noticing the laughter of a loved one, feeling the sun touch your skin, tasting a meal instead of rushing through it with your phone in hand. These aren't small things. They are life itself. Mindfulness helps us return to that simplicity. Just a few deep breaths, a quiet pause, or a gentle question like, what am I doing right now? And is it serving my well-being? Can pull us back from autopilot. The Stoics knew, distractions are many, but awareness is our anchor. And with that awareness comes our next step, a deeper understanding of time, and the impermanence that gives each moment its meaning. And so, as we practice mindfulness and anchor ourselves in the present, something begins to shift. Life feels lighter, time feels richer. But to truly embrace the present moment, we must also come to terms with a deeper truth. Everything in life is temporary. This is the next powerful lesson from Stoicism. The impermanence of all things. Our possessions, relationships, even our own breath, are fleeting. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. It's not meant to frighten us, but to remind us to live intentionally, because tomorrow is never promised. At first, the idea of impermanence can feel unsettling. We're used to thinking we have time to fix things, to achieve, to hold on. But Stoicism invites us to see change as the nature of life. Nothing stays the same, not our jobs, not our bodies, not even the emotions we feel. Yet ironically, the more we try to hold on, the more we suffer. Think about relationships. How painful it is when we fear losing someone. But what if we honored our time with them, knowing it won't last forever? As Epictetus put it, when you kiss your child goodnight, say to yourself, they may not wake in the morning. Harsh, perhaps, but this is not detachment. It's presence. It's love, lived deeply and urgently. And this wisdom applies to more than just people. Our careers shift, health declines, even beauty fades. Society may glorify youth, but the Stoics embraced aging with grace, seeing each stage of life as holding its own quiet dignity. We're also taught to rethink our attachment to material things. A bigger house, a fancier car, these might offer comfort, but they don't offer peace. Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When we stop needing more, we start appreciating what already is. Understanding impermanence changes how we live. We start spending our time more deliberately, less on distractions, more on what truly matters. Relationships, passions, kindness, purpose. And in that clarity, we discover a quiet strength, one that helps us weather life's changes with calm, rather than fear. Now, let's explore how this strength continues to grow when we learn to accept, not resist, what life brings next. When we embrace impermanence, we begin to see that even our most stressful moments, like a looming deadline or fear of failure, are just passing clouds. They feel big now, but viewed through a wider lens, they shrink, and in that space, we find the freedom to do our best without being ruled by worry. This shift in perception leads us to the next essential Stoic lesson: the power of acceptance. At its core, acceptance means making peace with what we cannot control. It's not passive resignation, but active clarity. As Epictetus wisely said, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. So much of our mental exhaustion comes from trying to fix things that aren't ours to fix. Other people's actions, the economy, the weather. When we resist reality, we suffer, but when we accept it, something incredible happens. We regain our calm. Picture this: you're stuck in traffic, running late, frustration rising, but no amount of honking or stress will change the flow of cars. Instead, what if you shifted your focus, played a podcast, breathed deeply, or simply sat in stillness? Acceptance, in this case, turns chaos into calm. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the heart of Stoic acceptance. Not control over the world, but mastery over your response to it. It doesn't mean giving up or pretending everything's fine. It means seeing things clearly and asking, what can I actually do right now? When you shift from resistance to response, you conserve energy and regain your strength. Let's take a more personal example. Imagine you've poured your heart into a project, but it doesn't get the praise you hope for. It stings. But when you let go of the need for applause and take pride in your effort, you reclaim your peace. That's real confidence, the kind that doesn't rely on others' opinions. Seneca echoed this wisdom too. He reminded us that challenges are not roadblocks. They're refinement. Just as a gem is polished by friction, our character grows through trials. And it's not just about events. It's about people too. Maybe a friend cancels plans last minute. Maybe a colleague is difficult to work with. Our first impulse might be frustration, but we can't control how others behave. We can only choose our response. Acceptance helps us meet these moments with patience, not anger. And what about failure? Many of us carry shame or disappointment when life doesn't go to plan. But the Stoics remind us, failure is not a sign of weakness. It's a part of life, a moment to reflect, adjust, and move forward, stronger than before. In our next lesson, we'll explore a powerful companion to acceptance: letting go. What happens when we stop clinging, not just to outcomes, but to our past, our expectations, and even our identities. So when we accept life as it is, failures and all, we stop letting setbacks define our worth. Instead, we begin to see mistakes not as walls, but as stepping stones. That's the beauty of the Stoic mindset. Epictetus encouraged his students to treat every experience, good or bad, as a chance to grow. Failure, when accepted, becomes a teacher, not a punishment. And as we drop the fear of making mistakes, we build quiet strength and resilience. But acceptance also asks us to do something even harder: let go. Letting go is one of the most powerful acts of freedom. It doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging to regrets, to expectations, to things we cannot change. Many people carry the weight of their past like a heavy backpack. Old arguments, missed chances, personal losses. But Stoicism teaches that the past is beyond our reach. As Marcus Aurelius said, the past is a mere fragment of time, no longer with us. The present is what we shape. The future is unknown. When we let go of what's behind us, we free our hands to shape what's ahead. And letting go doesn't just apply to memories. It also means releasing our grip on outcomes. We often attach our happiness to how things should turn out. Relationships, careers, dreams when reality doesn't match the story we imagined. Disappointment takes over. Epictetus put it simply, it's not events that disturb us. It's our judgment of them. If we can change how we relate to what happens, we can change how we feel. Think of anger. For instance, you might be holding on to resentment from an old argument, but does replaying it change anything? Except your peace of mind. Letting go of that anger isn't weakness. It's strength. It's a decision to stop bleeding from a wound that's already healed. Or think about regrets. Those mental loops of I should have, that trap us in the past. Seneca reminds us. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. To grow, we must first release what no longer serves us. And yes, this includes relationships. Romantic, friendly, even professional. When something ends, it's tempting to dwell on what went wrong, but the Stoics invite us to honor what was, without grasping for what can no longer be. Life, after all, is a flow, not a freeze frame. This wisdom also applies to how we see ourselves. Many of us define our identity by roles, our job title, social standing, achievements. But these things change. They don't define our worth. True peace comes from letting go of the labels and discovering who we are without them. As Seneca beautifully said, he who is brave is free. And sometimes, bravery means loosening our grip on what we thought we needed. Now, let's take that courage one step further. What if we not only let go, but also recentered ourselves through the quiet strength of mindfulness? Letting go doesn't mean indifference. It means opening your heart to life as it is, not as you insist it must be. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. In doing so, we become more adaptable, more at peace, and less shaken by the unexpected. And there's another attachment we often overlook. The one to others' opinions. How often do we shape our choices based on what others might think? The Stoics warn us, this is a trap. We can't control how we're perceived. Epictetus put it bluntly, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. It may sound harsh, but the wisdom is clear. Freedom begins when we stop needing approval from everyone around us. Picture this. You're giving a presentation at work. Your mind races. Will they like it? Will they judge me? That worry steals your focus and drains your confidence. But what if you shifted inward instead? What if you cared less about their reactions, and more about what's in your control? Your effort, your preparation, your delivery? Letting go of outcomes doesn't make you careless. It makes you calm. In the end, the Stoics teach us that letting go is not surrender. It's strength, whether it's past mistakes, future expectations, or the urge to be liked. Releasing these burdens clears the way for peace. You free yourself from the emotional weight of things you never controlled to begin with. And this freedom brings us to a practice that grounds us in the now. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of presence, the ability to be here, fully, in this moment. To the Stoics, it's not a trendy buzzword, but a lifelong skill. Marcus Aurelius advised, confine yourself to the present, because this moment, it's all we truly have. When we're pulled into thoughts of what was or what might be, we lose touch with what is. That's when stress creeps in, when we're not really where we are. Mindfulness pulls us back. It doesn't require incense or silence. It starts with awareness of your thoughts, your breath, your surroundings. Whether you're walking, working, or washing the dishes, it's the act of coming back to now, gently, repeatedly. Let's say you're at your desk, but your mind's reliving an argument from last night. You're physically here, but emotionally stuck elsewhere. That distraction, it clouds your clarity, saps your energy. But if you pause, notice the wandering, and return to the task at hand, you reclaim your focus and your peace. Mindfulness, as Epictetus taught, helps us master our reactions. It doesn't stop life from throwing challenges, but it helps us meet those challenges with presence, rather than panic. Next, we'll see how mindfulness and emotional mastery go hand in hand, guiding us to respond, not react, even in life's most difficult moments. As we explored, mindfulness helps us return to the present moment, again and again, especially when life pulls us toward worry or distraction. But one of its greatest strengths, it gives us the power to pause before reacting. Imagine you're driving and someone cuts you off. The surge of anger is almost automatic. But if you're mindful, you catch that spark before it becomes a flame. Instead of yelling or honking, you take a breath, you choose calm, and in that moment, you protect your peace. This ability to notice emotions without being ruled by them is a quiet superpower. It helps us face daily stress without being swallowed by it. Many of us carry anxiety because our minds are always leaping ahead, worrying about what might go wrong. But the Stoics knew this only leads us further from clarity. Seneca said it best, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Mindfulness brings us back. It gently pulls us out of imagined disasters and grounds us in what is real and manageable. Right now, another powerful insight. The Stoics taught that our thoughts are not facts. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. When we observe our thoughts as temporary visitors, not absolute truths, we regain control over how we feel. After all, silence teaches us presence, and once we're fully present, the Stoics invite us to shift our gaze from the finish line to the path beneath our feet. Enjoy the journey, not just the outcome. Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Wish instead for things to happen as they do, and you will be happy." It's a powerful reminder to stop obsessing over results and instead embrace the process itself. In a world where success is often measured by achievements and accolades, it's easy to lose sight of the little victories, the effort, the discipline, the quiet moments of progress. Think of someone training for a marathon. If all they focus on is crossing the finish line, they may miss the joy found in daily runs, growing strength, and personal discipline. The Stoics would say, success isn't just in the outcome, it's in showing up, again and again. By focusing on the journey, we stay connected to the present. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And the more we fixate on some future goal, the more likely we are to miss the richness of right now. Imagine you're working on a long-term project. At first, you feel excited, but as deadlines loom and pressure builds, that excitement fades. Worry takes over. Will it be good enough? Will others approve? When you fixate on the result, joy disappears. But if you shift your mindset, valuing your growth, your effort, your learning, you begin to enjoy the process again. Seneca reminded us, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Courage is in the doing, not in the outcome. And when we accept that results are uncertain, we free ourselves from fear and perform at our best. Just look at athletes or artists. If their happiness depended solely on winning or applause, They'd always be at the mercy of external approval. But those who love the practice itself, the craft, the creation, carry a deeper, longer-lasting fulfillment. And yes, sometimes we stumble, if we focus only on results. Setbacks can feel like failure, but viewed through Stoic eyes, setbacks are part of the journey, stepping stones to wisdom and strength. Epictetus urged us to welcome them as teachers, not roadblocks. This lesson also calls for patience. Growth takes time. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, no matter how long you train a bird to sing, it will never sing exactly like you. Each of us grows in our own time, our own way. The Stoics remind us, trust the path, and give it time. In the end, enjoying the journey helps us live with more peace, gratitude, and resilience. Life isn't a race toward a destination. It's a sacred unfolding. And when we walk it with presence, we discover that meaning was never waiting at the end. It was always right beneath our feet. Next, we'll explore how finding joy in the simplest things can open our hearts to a whole new kind of happiness. After learning to cherish the journey, the Stoics offer us a gentle yet profound invitation. Find joy in the simplest things. In a world that often tells us happiness lies in wealth, success, or achievement, Stoicism turns our attention inward, to the quiet beauty of everyday life. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." True contentment, he taught, comes not from chasing more, but from appreciating what we already have. Happiness, the Stoics believed, isn't tied to external things. It's born from our ability to be present and grateful. When we shift our focus from what we lack to what is already here, we begin to notice the small joys all around us. A warm cup of tea in the morning, the sound of gentle rain, a smile from a stranger, the sunlight filtering through your window. These moments might seem ordinary, but if we're truly present, they become extraordinary. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When our thoughts are grounded in appreciation, peace follows. But when we obsess over what's missing, even abundance feels empty. Modern life constantly urges us to want more. More stuff, more recognition, more control. But this pursuit, the Stoics warn, pulls us away from the now. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Take a simple example. Imagine walking through a park. You could be lost in your phone or worrying about what's next. Or, you could pause, breathe in the fresh air, notice the trees, the birds, the warmth of the sun. That small shift in awareness changes everything. Gratitude plays a key role here. When we reflect on what we're thankful for, be it a friend's support, a comfortable bed, or a good meal, we begin to feel full instead of lacking. Seneca beautifully said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Some find it helpful to keep a gratitude journal. Others simply pause during the day to acknowledge the good. Either way, the practice grounds us in joy. And joy isn't just found in solitude. It lives in connection too. The Stoics remind us that one of life's simplest pleasures is being fully present with those we love. It's easy to take our relationships for granted, but when we truly see and listen to one another, we rediscover how rich these moments are. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. So let us remember, joy doesn't hide in grand milestones. It whispers through small, quiet moments. All we have to do is notice. And from that simplicity, we return to a deeper Stoic truth. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a way of life. Let's explore how living with a grateful heart transforms not only our days, but our destiny, when we slow down enough to notice life's simple moments, a shared meal, a quiet conversation, or just being present with someone we love, we begin to understand where true happiness lives. And that leads us gently into one of the most profound teachings of Stoicism. The art of gratitude. Gratitude, to the Stoics, wasn't just a polite response. It was a way of living, a daily practice that shaped how we saw the world. Seneca said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart, not because it's easy, but because it transforms how we relate to life, especially in hard times, in a society driven by the chase for more success, more things, more recognition." Stoicism invites us to pause and appreciate. Epictetus encouraged his students to reflect on their blessings each day. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This mindset doesn't mean denying difficulties. It means holding space for both struggle and gratitude. Even when life feels heavy, we can still find something to be thankful for. A lesson learned, the support of a friend, or simply the strength we've discovered in ourselves. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine being passed over for a promotion. Naturally, frustration arises, but instead of getting lost in disappointment, gratitude helps us refocus. What have I gained? What am I still learning? Who is standing by me? This shift doesn't erase the pain, but it softens it, and it helps us move forward with clarity. Marcus Aurelius, even amidst the pressures of ruling an empire, reminded himself each morning, "Think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Starting the day with that awareness changes how we experience everything that follows. One of the simplest, yet most powerful ways to build gratitude is by keeping a daily journal. Write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be grand. A kind gesture, a moment of quiet, the comfort of home. Over time, your mind begins to seek the good more naturally. Gratitude also deepens our relationships. It's easy to overlook the people who support us every day, but when we take a moment to truly acknowledge them, whether it's a heartfelt thank you or a few words of appreciation, we not only strengthen that bond but feel more connected ourselves. Think about a friend who checks in, or a coworker who always lends a hand. A few sincere words can turn routine interactions into lasting connection. Finally, gratitude reminds us that joy isn't hidden in luxury. It's woven into life's most essential moments. Epictetus taught that true happiness lies in good health, meaningful work, nourishing food, and loving relationships. When we see these not as expectations, but as gifts, we cultivate a quiet, lasting contentment. So the next time the sun warms your face, or laughter rings through a room, pause, let it in, let it remind you, this is enough. Coming up next, we'll explore how to take these inner practices into the world, and become a quiet light for others, especially within our families and communities. And when we practice gratitude in the quiet moments of life, whether during a conversation, a shared meal, or simply sitting beside someone in silence, we begin to realize that joy doesn't require grandeur. It lives in simplicity. It thrives in presence. That's why the Stoics treasured solitude, not as isolation, but as sacred space for reflection, clarity, and peace. In a world buzzing with notifications, updates, and constant noise, solitude feels rare, but to Marcus Aurelius, it was essential. Nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul. He wrote, for the Stoics, solitude was not escape, it was return. Return to yourself. Solitude isn't about being physically alone. It's about stepping away from distraction to reconnect with your thoughts, values, and inner wisdom. In that space, we grow, we recalibrate, we become emotionally stronger and mentally clearer. Modern life often trains us to avoid stillness. After a stressful day, we reach for distractions, scrolling, streaming, talking, but those things rarely bring peace. A few minutes of solitude, however, can change everything. It gives us time to process, to learn, to breathe. Marcus Aurelius often turned inward for guidance. He believed the deepest calm wasn't found in mountains or oceans, but within, and it's in those moments of retreat, into our own mind, that we find the answers we're looking for. Solitude sharpens self-awareness. Away from others' opinions, we begin to hear our own voice again. We understand what truly matters. Not what we should do, but what aligns with who we are. Whether you're facing a big decision or sorting through emotional noise, solitude provides the clarity to choose wisely. It also helps regulate emotions. When anger, fear, or sadness rise up, solitude gives us room to observe, not react. As Epictetus taught, we should often pause and ask, are these emotions serving me, or clouding my judgment? Imagine you've just had a conflict. Emotions are raw. You're tempted to lash out, but instead, you step away, you reflect, you breathe, and from that space, you choose a wiser response. That's the power of solitude in action. It's also a time to practice gratitude. Seneca wrote, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be." In solitude, we can pause and notice our blessings, our health, our home, our loved ones, and shift from craving more to appreciating what is. So whether it's a walk in nature, a quiet morning with tea, or a few deep breaths before sleep, make room for solitude. It's not absence, it's presence, and within it lies your calm, your clarity, your peace. In conclusion, appreciating solitude is a core Stoic lesson. It helps us stay grounded, emotionally balanced, and aligned with what truly matters. It is not about escaping the world, but stepping back just long enough to return with more wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the greatest retreat we can find is within our own soul. Thank you so much for being here. I hope today's journey reminded you that a good life isn't about forcing things. It's about flowing with them, about savoring the small, staying present, and responding with grace. If this video brought you clarity or calm, please give it a like, leave a comment, and share it with someone who might need these words today. And don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, shared gently from the heart. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep walking the Stoic path. See you soon.